Welcome back to LFC ECHO Daily, the only channel you need for everything Liverpool Football Club. Today's video is stacked, Reds. A shock exit plan for three first-team stars, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Hugo Ekitike, reacting to Ibrahima Konaté's emotional Real Madrid moment, Andoni Iraola dropping a big statement on his defense, and Fabrizio Romano confirming two fresh transfer bombshells before this video is finished. Smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell us in the comments which story shocks you most. Let's get straight into it. Game over for three Liverpool stars as ruthless clear-out looms. Richard Hughes is running out of road, and he knows it. Liverpool's sporting director has already spent close to £100 million this summer, with Victor Munoz arriving from Osasuna for around £34 million and Jeremy Jacquet completing his move from Rennes for roughly £60 million during the winter window. Fans have been begging for reinforcements out wide, but the uncomfortable truth is starting to surface. To bring players in, Liverpool are going to have to sell, and sell fast. Here's the number that should worry every single supporter. Liverpool have banked just £700,000 in outgoing transfer fees this entire summer, a figure so small it barely covers a week of first-team wages. That solitary fee came from Bolton Wanderers for youngster Lucas Stevenson. Compare that to Paris Saint-Germain's reported £145 million valuation of Bradley Barcola, and you start to understand the size of the gap Hughes needs to bridge before the 1st of September. So who is heading for the exit? Sunday told its own story. Liverpool played two separate matches against Como. The first, a behind-closed-doors affair split into two 35-minute halves at the AXA training centre. The second, a full stadium spectacle in front of the Anfield faithful. Federico Chiesa and Harvey Elliott started the closed-doors game, but were not asked back for the main event later that day. In football, that is rarely a coincidence. According to reporting out of the Liverpool Echo, those substitutions point directly toward the exit door for both men. The picture painted for Elliott is brutal. He returned to Anfield following an underwhelming loan spell at Aston Villa, with only 12 months left on his contract and no sign yet of Iraola trusting him with regular minutes. Villa had reportedly been willing to pay up to £35 million for him last year. That figure is almost certainly gone now, and Liverpool may have to accept far less if they want to move him on before deadline day. Chiesa's situation is arguably even more uncomfortable. Since arriving from Juventus in 2024, the Italian has never truly convinced under Slot, or now Iraola, and he has been linked with a return to Serie A. But here's the twist. Italian clubs have so far been unwilling or unable to match both his wage demands and Liverpool's asking price, leaving him stuck in limbo, wanted by nobody prepared to pay for him. And then there is Curtis Jones. The 25-year-old homegrown midfielder has barely featured in pre-season, officially due to a hip problem that ruled him out of last weekend's game against Monaco, but the timing lines up suspiciously well with growing interest from Inter Milan. Sources now suggest Hughes is prepared to settle for a fee of around £30 million to get the homegrown star off the books, cash that would go a long way toward funding Iraola's search for a new winger. Three careers hanging by a thread, one deadline closing in fast. If all three exits go through, Liverpool could suddenly find themselves with a genuine war chest to finally land Bradley Barcola. But if they don't, Iraola may be forced to start the season with the same imbalanced squad that got his predecessor sacked. We'll be tracking every twist, so stay subscribed for the moment any of these three actually walks out the door. In another news, Ekitike and Alexander-Arnold react as Konate makes his Bernabeu bow. This one is going to sting, Reds, but we have to talk about it. Ibrahima Konaté has now officially made his first appearance in a Real Madrid shirt, and the reaction from his former Liverpool teammates has said everything about how this transfer actually went down behind the scenes. Konate left Liverpool this summer on a free transfer after his contract expired, a move that shocked plenty of supporters given earlier claims he had been close to signing a new deal at Anfield. As the months dragged on without confirmation, the writing was increasingly on the wall, and Real Madrid, who had already lured Trent Alexander-Arnold away the year before, swooped in to complete the reunion. On Sunday, under new boss Jose Mourinho, Konate was finally given his chance, coming on for 45 minutes in a pre-season friendly against Schalke. In that time, the 27-year-old kept a clean sheet, made 1 interception and completed 2 clearances, a solid, if unspectacular return, as he works on building fitness and chemistry with a brand new set of teammates. It's what happened afterward that has fans talking. Konate posted to Instagram following the game, writing, "First time wearing this shirt, an honor. Hala Madrid." The comments section beneath that post quickly filled up with support, and 2 names in particular jumped out to Liverpool fans scrolling through: Hugo Ekitike and Trent Alexander-Arnold, both of whom left messages of encouragement for their old teammate. Real Madrid stars including Kylian Mbappe, Dean Huijsen, Endrick and Arda Güler also joined in with their own comments, welcoming Konate to the dressing room. For Red supporters, there is something quietly painful about watching 2 former stars publicly celebrate a third one joining their new club. Alexander-Arnold's departure already felt like a gut punch, and now Konate has followed the exact same path, out of contract and straight into the arms of Los Blancos. It raises an uncomfortable question Liverpool's hierarchy will need to answer. How many more long-serving stars can this club afford to lose to Real Madrid before something changes structurally in how contracts are handled at Anfield? For now, Konate gets started for real with his new side next weekend, and Liverpool fans will be watching every single minute of it, whether they want to admit it or not. In another news, Iraola singles out 3 Liverpool stars as boss confronts a painful truth. Andoni Iraola finally has some good news to share, and it could not have come at a better time. After a torrid tour of the United States that left Liverpool's new head coach dangerously short of fit defenders, Sunday's 2-0 win over Como at Anfield gave him exactly the boost he needed heading into the new season. Liverpool's pre-season had been a genuine defensive crisis. Iraola was forced to field teenagers Ifeanyi Ndukwe and Mortala Ndiaye alongside 22-year-old Luke Chambers, while established names dropped like flies around him. Virgil van Dijk was given time off after the World Cup. Joe Gomez was ruled out early. Jeremy Jacquet was recovering from injury, and Giovanni Leone remained sidelined with a long-term knee problem. It's no exaggeration to say Iraola's centre-back options at one stage were little more than academy prospects and a captain running on empty. Sunday changed the mood. Goals from Cody Gakpo and, crucially, from new signing Jeremy Jacquet secured a confidence-boosting 2-0 victory that followed back-to-back pre-season defeats to Leeds United and Monaco. Speaking afterward, Iraola made a point of singling out 3 individuals by name. "Yes, both of them," he said, when asked whether he was impressed by his 2 new centre-backs. "I think Jeremy played really well. Also, Ronald played really well when he came in. When you have 2 new faces, first game for both, they do so well." He didn't stop there, adding praise for right-back Jeremy Frimpong too. It was also a very good performance of Jeremy Frimpong, playing 90 minutes as a right-back, helping us offensively but closing very well his side also. So, some good performances at the back. But do not mistake relief for satisfaction. Iraola has been openly frustrated by the lack of incoming transfers this summer, particularly in defence and out wide, and he made that clear again after the game. "I think we need a little bit this feeling of finishing with a clean sheet, winning the game," he said. "Still, the first half has been better than the second, but at least we kept our organisation, our composure, and we found a way to finish with a clean sheet, 2-0. I think we needed this feeling before we start." With Ibrahima Konaté gone on a free transfer, there is now open competition for the second centre-back spot alongside Van Dijk, contested between £55 million signing Jeremy Jacquet and Barcelona loanee Ronald Araújo. That's a huge amount of responsibility to place on a debutant and a player still settling into a new league, with the Premier League opener at Newcastle now just a week away. Iraola has his early answers. Whether he has enough depth to survive an injury crisis once fixtures pile up is a different question entirely, and one Liverpool fans should watch nervously before the window slams shut. In another news, Wharton sparks Anfield frenzy after winning a Gerrard auction battle. Sometimes the smallest moments say the most, and this one had Liverpool fans buzzing across social media within hours. Footage has emerged of Crystal Palace midfielder Wharton taking part in an eBay live auction, bidding on a signed Steven Gerrard shirt from Liverpool's legendary 2005 Champions League triumph in Istanbul. The clip shows Wharton anxiously watching the countdown clock before eventually landing the winning bid of £410, the equivalent of around $555 for the commemorative shirt. It carries the words European Champions Istanbul 2005 and features Gerrard's autograph prominently displayed above the iconic Carlsberg logo of that era. As the auction closed and his win was confirmed, Wharton could not contain himself, grinning and exclaiming, "We got it!" as he leaned back in his chair. The footage then cuts to the 22-year-old outside, unwrapping the prized shirt after it was delivered to his door. Why does this matter beyond a bit of fun? Context is everything. Wharton has been persistently linked with Liverpool, and this isn't the first time he's shown his admiration for Gerrard. Back in spring, when asked to build his perfect footballer, Wharton picked Kylian Mbappe for pace, Lionel Messi for finishing, Sergio Busquets for football IQ, and, for passing, Gerrard. A remarkably specific pick from a player who wasn't yet 4 years old when Gerrard was in his prime, and it tells you exactly how deeply this England international has studied Liverpool's history. There have already been reports of significant interest, with some accounts suggesting Liverpool could face competition from Real Madrid and Barcelona for Wharton's signature, with a valuation touching around £100 million. Crystal Palace, for their part, have made clear they are in no rush to sell. Put it all together, and Liverpool fans have every reason for a flicker of hope. A young England midfielder with genuine Anfield history knowledge, tracked by the club's recruitment staff, publicly celebrating a Gerrard shirt weeks before a window closes. It might be coincidence, or it might be the kind of subtle signal that means everything 6 months down the line. Keep this name bookmarked, Reds. In another news, Gravenberch throws open the door to more Liverpool transfers. Ryan Gravenberch has never been shy about sharing his opinion, and his latest comments will have given Liverpool supporters plenty to think about, both in terms of what he said about a new teammate and what he refused to rule out for the rest of the transfer window. Let's start with the on-pitch context. Jeremy Jacquet made only his second appearance in a Liverpool shirt on Sunday, and his first under Andoni Iraola, yet he delivered a display good enough to have his name on everyone's lips by full time. The France under-21 international, who completed his move from Rennes on the 1st of July, played just 45 minutes before being replaced by fellow new arrival Ronald Araújo, who joined on a season-long loan from Barcelona last week. In that half-hour and change, Jacquet looked assured, composed, and crucially got himself on the scoresheet with a close-range finish just before half-time. Gravenberch was full of praise for both new arrivals and for the way Iraola has set the team up since taking charge last month. But it was his comments on the transfer window that will have caught the eye of anyone watching Liverpool's business closely. Asked directly about the possibility of further signings before the 1st of September deadline, Gravenberch responded with a measured but pointed answer. "That's up to the club. I think we have good footballers, but if they want to buy more players, let's see. We have to do really better than last season. We'll see what happens. What's our minimum aim? Let's see what the season brings." Read between the lines, and there's a subtle message there. Gravenberch is too diplomatic to publicly demand new signings, but the acknowledgement that Liverpool have to do really better than last season is a quiet admission that last summer's record spending didn't translate into results, and standing still this window may not be good enough. With Curtis Jones potentially heading to Inter Milan and Stefan Bajcetic attracting interest from Getafe, Liverpool's midfield options could look considerably thinner by September the 1st. The numbers back up the concern. The established trio of Alexis McAllister, Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai struggled for consistency last season, and if both Jones and Bajcetic depart, Iraola would lean heavily on Wataru Endo and academy graduate Trey Nyoni for cover. That's an incredibly thin margin for a club expected to compete on 4 fronts. Gravenberch's comments sound diplomatic, but underneath is a warning that even Liverpool's own players are noticing the gaps. In another news, Alisson makes his feelings crystal clear on Liverpool's new-look defence. If there was one man best placed to judge Liverpool's revamped back line on Sunday, it was the goalkeeper standing directly behind it, and Alisson Becker did not hold back in his assessment. Liverpool wrapped up their pre-season campaign with a confidence-boosting 2-0 win over Como at Anfield, a result built largely on the debuts of two new centre-backs. Jacquet turned heads with a commanding first-half display, capping it off with a goal after Jacquet had opened the scoring. He was replaced at the interval by Ronald Araújo, whose second-half introduction helped Liverpool secure only their second clean sheet of the entire pre-season programme. Speaking after full-time, Alisson made his admiration plain and simple. "Both of them played really, really well," he said. "Jeremy had a great first half, great on the ball, great defending as well, controlling the space in behind him as well." High praise from a goalkeeper who has watched plenty of defenders come and go during his time at Anfield, and someone whose opinion on defensive solidity carries genuine weight in that dressing room. But this was about far more than one comfortable pre-season win for Alisson. The Brazilian used the moment to set out his broader hopes for the season ahead under Iraola, striking a tone that balanced genuine excitement with grounded realism. "I am really excited and looking forward, but feet on the ground," he explained. "We still have things to improve and don't have consistency for the full game, but we are going to get there. The best thing is winning with the space for improvement, and we need to go with that mentality for the first game against Newcastle." That final line is worth sitting with. Alisson is essentially admitting Liverpool are not the finished product, not even close, but that there's enough evidence to genuinely believe silverware is possible this season. Both Jacquet and Araújo will now compete for a starting spot alongside captain Van Dijk when the campaign kicks off at Newcastle, and if Alisson's assessment holds up, Liverpool may finally have found a long-term defensive solution after Konate's exit. If their manager, their midfield and their own goalkeeper are all saying the same thing after just one pre-season appearance, that's a genuine reason for cautious optimism heading into the new campaign. In another news, Liverpool opened talks over a risky Bajcetic exit as a La Liga side circles. Just when Liverpool fans thought the midfield picture couldn't get any more complicated, transfer insider Fabrizio Romano has dropped a fresh update that could leave Andoni Iraola dangerously light in the engine room. Here is the wider picture first. Liverpool's headline transfer targets right now are Bradley Barcola and Ibrahima Konaté, both of PSG, and personal terms are already understood to be agreed with both players. If those two deals get over the line, Liverpool's incoming business for the summer would largely be considered complete, joining Jeremy Jacquet, Ronald Araújo on loan, and Victor Munoz as confirmed arrivals. Notice what's missing from that list, though. There has been no new midfielder brought in all summer, and with Curtis Jones already expected to depart for Inter Milan, as we covered earlier in this video, the middle of the park is about to get a whole lot thinner. That's exactly what makes this next update so alarming. According to Romano, Spanish side Getafe have now formally opened talks to sign 21-year-old Stefan Bajcetic. Posting on social media, Romano wrote, "Getafe have opened talks to sign Stefan Bajcetic from Liverpool, formula being discussed." Bajcetic has endured a genuinely brutal run of injuries over the past several years, and the argument for letting him leave to rebuild his career with regular first-team football is a reasonable one on paper. But the timing, with Jones potentially walking out the same door, could not be worse for squad depth. If retained, Bajcetic would provide vital cover behind the established trio of McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, with Endo and academy graduate Trey Nioni the only other recognised options. Liverpool are expected to compete on four fronts again, and losing two central midfielders in the same window without a replacement leaves Iraola exposed the moment injuries strike, which, given this club's recent history, feels less like an if and more like a when. Respected reporter Matteo Moretto offered clarity last month, stating Iraola personally rates Bajcetic highly and wants to assess him during pre-season before deciding. Several Spanish clubs, including Rayo Vallecano and now Getafe, are said to be keen. If Iraola decides to keep him, Bajcetic would reportedly be offered a renewal, given his current deal expires next summer. If not, he's free to pursue that long-mooted return to Spain. Either way, this decision could define how thin Liverpool's midfield looks come the business end of the season. In another news, Fabrizio Romano confirms an African wonder kid is now free to join Liverpool. Richard Hughes may be entering his final weeks as Liverpool's sporting director, but he is refusing to go quietly, and the latest confirmation from Fabrizio Romano suggests one of his parting gifts could be a genuine wonder kid. Hughes's legacy at Anfield remains genuinely mixed. He deserves credit for his role in bringing Iraola to the club, a decision that could define Liverpool's next chapter if it works out. But there's no escaping the other side. Last summer's spending spree, eye-catching on paper, left a squad that was, in the words of multiple reports, seriously unbalanced, a factor that ultimately cost Arne Slot his job. With just 2 weeks left before deadline, Hughes has one final opportunity to leave Anfield, having actually finished the job. The clearest gap in the squad remains out on the right wing, and Liverpool have set their sights on a genuinely exciting young talent in Senegalese winger Ibrahima Konaté, who became the youngest African player to score at this summer's World Cup, a remarkable achievement for a player still only 18 years old. That record alone tells you everything about the ceiling this kid has. Now for the confirmation that has Liverpool fans buzzing. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Mbaye is now free to leave Paris Saint-Germain, and with Liverpool understood to be leading the race for his signature, there is genuine belief inside the club that a deal can be completed before the summer window shuts. Given his blend of searing pace, elite dribbling ability, and a proven record of delivering on the biggest stage in world football, it is not difficult to see why Iraola's coaching staff are so keen to get this one over the line. Landing an 18-year-old with World Cup pedigree and PSG Academy Polish would represent exactly the kind of forward-thinking, high-ceiling signing Liverpool's recruitment department has built its reputation on in recent years. If this deal does land, expect Ibrahima Konaté's name to be trending across every Liverpool fan account within minutes of confirmation. Keep this tab open, Reds, because Romano rarely gets these calls wrong, and the next update could come at any moment. In another news, Fabrizio Romano confirms Liverpool are closing in on a lightning-quick attacker. And just when you thought this news update couldn't get any bigger, Fabrizio Romano has delivered a second bombshell in the space of 24 hours, this time on a player who has been dominating Liverpool transfer headlines all summer long. The urgency here cannot be overstated. Liverpool are staring down the barrel of losing not just Mohamed Salah's enormous goal contribution from last season, but potentially Cody Gakpo's too, with Tottenham reportedly ramping up their pursuit and Liverpool said to be increasingly open to a sale. Between them, Salah and Gakpo were directly responsible for the majority of Liverpool's goals and assists during the title-winning 2024-25 campaign. Losing both in the same window without replacements would be an enormous gamble, even for this club's recruitment pedigree. That is what makes Bradley Barcola such an obvious target. The Frenchman recorded a top speed of 36.7 kilometers per hour last season, making him the 5th fastest player in the entire Champions League. Exactly the kind of explosive in-behind runner that fits the profile Iraola wants to build his attack around, especially alongside creative talents like Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz. And now the update Liverpool fans have been waiting weeks for. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano delivered his most confident assessment yet on the deal, telling viewers directly, "I can tell you guys that my confidence, speaking to my sources on this, that Bradley Barcola to Liverpool is growing. The confidence is absolutely growing, so the chances to see Bradley Barcola joining Liverpool from Paris Saint-Germain are growing." That is about as strong a signal as Romano ever gives before a deal is actually completed. And with PSG reportedly bringing in fresh attacking reinforcements of their own, the door appears to be opening for Barcola's Anfield move to finally happen. A quick note for anyone tracking this saga. Earlier reporting suggested PSG had valued Barcola at around £145 million, an enormous outlay even by Liverpool's recent standards. But growing suggestions the French club are willing to lower their price could bring this deal firmly within reach before deadline day. Combine this with the earlier update on Ibrahima Konaté, and Liverpool's attacking rebuild could be one of the most exciting in the club's recent history. Two elite, blistering pace attackers, both closing in at once, both confirmed by the most trusted name in the business. That's everything for today, Reds. 3 careers hanging in the balance, an emotional Real Madrid reunion, a defense finally finding its feet, a midfield stretched thin, and 2 red-hot Romano confirmations to finish things off. Stay subscribed with notifications on so you never miss an update as this window reaches its final chaotic days. Drop a comment telling us which story has you most excited or most worried, and we'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds!